welcome back to my channel. My name is Angel and today is actually February 2nd while I'm filming this, and we are officially into February. It's officially on to the next month of my temperature blanket. So if you've been on this journey with me, thank you, first of all. One of my first videos about temperature blankets on this channel got quite a bit of traction, so a lot of you might be here because of that. And I just wanted to share with you my journey so far with my 2022 temperature blanket, because while I did have a lot of planning videos, almost none of those are relevant now. I've kind of changed up my plans quite a bit. I think the first big thing is that I've changed my temperature gauge, and I will actually cover the screen now with all of the colors that I'm using. I switched entirely from the paint box yarns because I did find those to be a little too thin for me, and I changed all my colors. I tried to stick as close as I could to this like berry theme. So we have Big Twist, and we also have the Red Heart colors. The only one that is Red Heart is the lowest one, which is Boysenberry, but it has been a lot colder this year than it has been previous year, and it's definitely influenced my temperature blanket. Again, showing you some more tools. I've just been using I don't even know where this is from, but it's an eye size hook. This is a 5.5 millimeter, and I have the same one that I used last year, except I'm not doing the moss stitch. And I got this for Christmas. This is just a little holder I got off Amazon, and it is just a project bag, and it has these long straps, I can't think of the word, and the top is a clear plastic. And so there's your first sneak peek. But theoretically, you're supposed to actually keep your yarn in here, and there's holes so you can pull up the yarn as you go. And there's also a nice little pocket. So I will link this down below if you're interested. I want to say it was like $15 or $20. If you saw that sneak peek, you will notice that I didn't do the Teal Yarn Crafts temperature blanket linen stitch, but I instead chose this other pattern, which is just like a generic chevron. I thought that chevron would look really nice, and chevron, I'll say at first, is pretty easy to keep up because you're having the same repeating stitches over and over again. But what I learned last night when I was doing the in-between rows, I messed up quite a bit on my counts. Here is my temperature blanket for January. It is just this beautiful, and I can see through it, beautiful chevron. If you want to check out the pattern, it is down below, but the actual points are 12, and then you have an actual 3 single crochets, and then 12 again, and then at the bottom you're skipping 2 stitches. So this is all in single crochet, and at the top here I do have this color, which is going to be a divider between my months, and then this is the first day of February. It is not quite the lowest temperature on my scale, but it's nice and stripey so far, and I actually quite love it. I love how berry-ish this is, and I love how, oh, I just love the texture. So you'll also see at the top here, I did start to include these little stitch markers because I, again, royally fucked up my counts. I noticed right when I was doing this in-between month color that something was off. I want to say it was actually this one was smaller than the rest of the arches, like the rest of the triangle tips, by 2 on each side. So it was like short 2 here, short 2 here. So I had to get very creative because I'm not going to obviously do 31 rows of single crochet over again. Like, that's just ridiculous. I've been so good. I've caught up with it every day, and I've been like keeping on track of it. So I didn't want to. What I decided instead was to mark where it should have the peak and where it should have the valley, and I have stitch markers there, and I made notes of which ones needed to be edited, which was maybe about half of them. I was like over and under. There was one that had like 14 instead of 12. It was a shit show. So I fixed that last night, and we finished the month, and I got so excited that I actually did the first day of February as well. If you can tell, the trend is mostly these pinks, and then the very first day of the year was actually purple, which was in that 40 to 44 degree range. But otherwise, it's been underneath 40 degrees all year so far. Some things that I've noticed, I did have quite a bit of issues with keeping up with my counts because it, like, from a glance, and I do pay attention, I don't count every row, but it like visually is super easy to see where you need to put the increase of 3 at the tip of each peak and where you need to skip at the bottom. So I don't know if I started out really badly with my counts, or if just along the way I skipped something or I double crocheted somewhere I shouldn't have. But we're learning, and I'm gonna have these stitch markers in at least for a few weeks, and then maybe I'll just check in again at the end of February with the counts. make sure everything looks nice, and then we'll see how it goes. But so far I'm loving it. I'm loving these colors together, and I think the striping that we're having already with the chevron pattern is actually really pleasant. I'm really excited to get into more of like the greens and purples, but all together I think it's gonna look really nice. And something that I was missing from last year's blanket was the separation between months. I didn't have any division, and so there's no way for me to tell, aside from like a general guess, like where the 30 rows end, or the 31 rows. So I'm just doing a 4-row single crochet chevron in between with the gray color that I have, and I think it looks really nice. It doesn't like detract too much, because there actually were times where I had 4 rows of another color in here, and so I think it adds nicely, and it looks kind of random but also planned. Like, oh, I just love it so much. If you can't tell, I can't stop just staring at it in the viewfinder. I think it's very pretty. That's all I have for right now. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to move on from this to my other project bag, or even just like a canvas bag that I have once it starts to get a little bit bigger, because it is over a foot tall at this point. And I'm not wearing pants, so I'm not gonna stand up next to it, but I wanna say it's at least 5 feet wide, because I think it's as tall as me. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of my blanket so far, what you think of these colors. So again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're working on a temperature blanket this year, or just what you're working on for a project regardless, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.